Would you look at that? Freshly picked news, just in time for your favorite online news show, News at Noon. Twitter users are reportedly jumping en masse to a new social media site called Mastadon, a platform seemingly a little bit of Twitter on the outside, but also a little bit of Reddit on the inside. Mastodon utilizes a server system, much like Reddit's subreddits, where people join a community of similar individuals. From there, they can branch out to other corners of the site and join other communities of maybe less similar people. Their home server, however, will forever be a part of their username. Internet veterans can harken back to the good old days of creating their cringy childhood email addresses just to remake more professional ones down the line. It's a rite of passage for today's young folk. I'm looking at you, XXX_ShadowDragon239. The Bluebird is also apparently delaying the rollout of their $8 subscription toll for the blue checkmarks until after the midterm elections. While the exact reason of this is not explicitly stated, the memes have certainly been spicy. Now that people have to wait to subscribe to Musk's OnlyFans, those who have been fortunate enough to be blessed with that holy blue checkmark have been trolling the new platform owner and making fun of his comedy is now legal stance by changing their profile pictures and display names to Elon Musk's tweeting the darndest things like "I eat duty for breakfast every day" from Sarah Silverman. Some fake tweets have been so raunchy that we can't show them on this family-friendly show, partly because the content, but also partly because they were banned from Twitter for using their legal comedy. And Musk tweeted Sunday that impersonation without clearly specifying parody will be permanently suspended. And if you're tired of all this Daddy Musk Twitter news, user Alexicon Tom from Philadelphia is making the rounds on the site as he eats an entire rotisserie chicken a day in public in front of a crowd on an old abandoned pier near a Walmart, where people are gathering to watch him eat, calling him an inspiration and a modern-day Rocky. November 6th, so yesterday, was his 40th consecutive day of eating an entire rotisserie chicken on the dock. And while we don't know why he does this, we do know that he has blessed our hearts with his will of fire and that he will continue to be all that we aspire to be. COVID-19 is once again making the rounds in China, and Apple seems to be feeling the heat. In a statement on Sunday, Apple said that they are expecting to see a slowdown in iPhone 14 production due to COVID restrictions in its Pro and Pro Max models manufactured in Zhengzhou, China. China famously has a zero COVID policy that extends to many facilities, including Apple's Zhengzhou facility, where the building must basically quarantine themselves from the entire world if COVID is detected. A1 containment strategy. Everyone in that factory was bound to get COVID anyways. This just speeds up the process a little bit. China is furthering its strict stance against COVID by implementing strict lockdowns, quarantines, and rigorous testing as the nation continues its harsh battle against the virus. Disease control official Hu Shang has stated that China's actions are completely correct, as well as most economical and effective. And protests keep popping up in Iran after the deaths of Mahsa Amini, who was arrested for breaching dress code back in September in what people are believing to be the turning point of the regime. The protests show no sign of stopping, spreading across all walks of life and at every corner, including universities and local communities. The Iranian government, of course, has responded with drastic measures, injuring and killing a lot of their own citizens with numbers in the hundreds, which in turn generates more protests. Videos have surfaced online of people tipping off turbans in the streets and running away have undoubtedly angered many who follow the established regime. But that also comes hot in the heels of news that Iran had provided military drones to Russia in the offensive effort against Ukraine. Iran's state-run media has also reportedly downplayed the number of military drones that they sent to Russia, but Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that they shoot down at least 10 a day. So while Iran says that they sent maybe one or two, Ukraine does the paperwork and shows that Iran agreed to supply between 1,500 and 2,400 drones, which in my books is a lot more than a couple. Russia then flips the script by saying that it is the West to blame. Since they're sending so much to Ukraine, Russia should be allowed to have some new toys as well. Speaking of the West, with the midterm elections coming up tomorrow, the Democrats seem to be in hot water, as basically every poll is suggesting a Republican taking of the House of Representatives. Biden is seen making the rounds to states such as New York in a last-minute effort to bolster support, but ex-President Donald Trump seems to have had the same idea, doing the same thing, but in Florida. Their talking points have basically been the same that you've been probably hearing for the last few years. Biden warning of a Republican majority and Trump equating the Democrats to communists. So nothing really new. However, Trump seems to be constantly suggesting that he will be running again for president in 2024.
I haven't seen that guy run in years.
And Italy has rejected around 250 immigrants from North Africa from entering their docks due to basically not looking vulnerable enough. The Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, has been very specific about her stance of migrants, saying that we must stop illegal departures and human trafficking, while others have questioned the legality of the rejection. The two rescue boats with passengers, Humanity 1, which flies a German flag, and Geo Barretts, which sails under a Norwegian flag, are told by the Interior Minister of Italy, Matteo Piantedosi, that they would have to be taken care of by their flag state, which the SOS Humanity, the charity that runs Humanity 1, disagrees with in a tweet that states the law of the sea obliges him to bring all those rescued from distress to a safe place. So while that gets resolved, the two rescue boats remain in coastal waters. Russian-occupied Kherson city loses water and power in what has been deemed sabotage. Naturally, Russia is swift to blame Ukraine and has been advising citizens of the city to evacuate or make preparations for a Ukrainian offensive. Ukraine, on the other hand, is saying that Russia is planning to destroy more critical energy infrastructure, namely blowing up the Kakhovka hydroelectric dam, which would disrupt power and water supply to southern Ukraine and Crimea. Not to mention, make a lot of homeowners waterfront properties, vis-a-vis flooding. President Zelensky has also said this move by Russia could hamper Europe's largest nuclear power plant located in Zaporizhzhia, which had its light cut out recently due to Russian missiles just a couple days ago. The US has also reportedly been in secret hush-hush talks with the Kremlin about keeping communications open and not specifically about ending the war in Ukraine. While not much is known about these chats besides the aim to deter the end of the world, it is comforting to know that the US and Russia are still talking as if they just broke up, and both their therapists said that they need some kind of closure. And I need a bit of closure with this episode, as some of these news stories have gotten a little bit stale. So come back tomorrow for more of that freshly picked news at noon. Oh, and before I forget, the Powerball is now sitting at a cash value of $929 million. And the Powerball gods have given us the winning numbers. So if one of you guys want to become an instant millionaire, the winning numbers are